We shall be known by the company we keep. Hi there, my name is Tercy Engelhardt, and I want to welcome you to the Unreasonably Grateful podcast, Living in Grace by Choice. Every week, I take a moment to say, welcome. It's wonderful to have you here. Whether you're dropping in for the first time or you've been joining me for a couple of years now, or maybe it's just an occasional visit, I'm grateful that you're here. Just like I learned from stories other people shared with me as I was going through my journey of rediscovering who I was created to be and healing myself from 20 years of living an addictive lifestyle, um, sexual abuse, eating disorders, and then eventually the ongoing process of just healing those broken off pieces of myself, how I responded to the circumstances of my life, and running a business, raising a family, becoming a grandparent, a farmer, all those things. And every step of the way, I still learn from stories that other people share. And so I share in the hopes that you'll hear something that will make a difference for you, that'll ease your journey, move you a little further along on your path. Some of us who dealt with addictive lifestyles call it recovery. Other people just call it life, learning to live from a healthy viewpoint of who you are, why you're here, what the opportunity is for you to contribute. So grateful. You belong here. I love that I get to share with some of you more deeply on Tuesday sessions. You can always sign up on my website. And I try to keep this between under 10 minutes so that it's simple and short and you can apply what's shared or something that's shared to your life and try it on. Does it fit? Does it give you a little bit more support, more encouragement, maybe a little inspiration? All right. Thank you. So there's lots I could share about. We're in the midst of what I consider to be sad for our country right now, as freedom of speech is certainly threatened, and the nation's dealing with an assassination of really a private figure who felt called to share his message, and mostly on university campuses doing question and answers. And I didn't follow Charlie Kirk. I wasn't that connected to him, and I do believe that it's good for us to be able to debate. It's good for us to be able to listen to multiple viewpoints. It is how we learn. And so the freedom of speech that our country has always been about is valuable and important and separates us from lots of other nations. And so it's sad. It's a time of sadness. It's a time of grieving. I feel for his family and loved ones. And for our nation, it's a loss that this is how we're resolving things. And the particular topic that I want to talk about is effortless action, because as I shared with you, I've now finished my sleep test. I'm waiting for the results, and then they'll do an MRI if nothing shows up yet. And just to see if there's some clue as to what actually happened, and then I'll take the next steps. So I'm in a little bit of a waiting mode right now. However, I'm still having this experience of what my dear friend who visited called Wu Wei. And Wu Wei is actually the name of his amazing dog. And so I was a little confused at first as I was sharing with him this experience of a freedom I've never had before, a sense of peace. He shared with me, oh, you're experiencing Wu Wei, which is a Chinese expression meaning effortless action, which is an ease, it's a peace. And that is what I'm experiencing. Another friend said, do you think you had a near-death experience? I said, honestly, I have no idea. But they were saying, gosh, it sounds like, and they were exploring and explaining to me their experience of an understanding of near death experience. Anyway, what I am experiencing is a freedom and a peace. And for me, who's someone who's, um, you know, I suppose always dealt with some level of control, although I feel like not so much, but maybe people who like to control things or keep things a particular way don't think that they are that way, which may be why they are. But either way, I'm experiencing a freedom to let things be, to leave things alone, to not react. Um, and I've always wanted to be able to, I just couldn't. Or as someone shared, you couldn't and not feel guilty or, oh, I could have done that. Why didn't I do that? And I'm just not having that second guessing or doubt. And so I'm able to just let things be. And it is providing a, an inner peace and a freedom that I don't know that I've ever experienced. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm living in a mess. It means that I just don't have to clean things up immediately. I don't have to live by the exact same routine as I shared in last week's episode. I have more emotional flexibility. Um, I suppose it's more of you can kind of go with the flow. And last week, I invited you to take a look at what are the routines that you've created, or maybe they're actually a default for something. There's something that's protecting you from or overcoming something or avoiding something. And maybe it's just habit, maybe it's just habitual, and they may well work. And yet, they're restrictive. They're restricting you, and maybe they're restricting others from contributing to you. So, what are those? And could you look and see where perhaps those routines may have become ruts? And that if you could identify those, there may be a new freedom available if you could switch things up. However, this week, what I want to say is, but it's not about efforting to do that. I think it's more about a willingness, letting something fall away. Like snakes shed skins and butterflies come out of cocoons. Perhaps it's more of, if we can identify them, we can actually let go and see if we can be more available or open for discovering something else. Because what I'm not saying is I want you to work hard at doing something, because that is not what I'm doing. I'm not working hard at being able to let something be. I'm simply letting it be. And as I shared last week, it's almost as if I'm observing myself doing it for the first time while I'm doing it. So I haven't planned on doing it, thought about doing it, worked at doing it, developed a system or a way of doing it. None of those things. It's not in the doing world, it's in the being world. And the beingness is at peace. The beingness is a calmness, an acceptance, a willingness, an openness, an unattachment. It's like, yeah, a breath of fresh air. And so I want to invite you to see if you can access that space by just noticing where you may be attached or holding on, and being willing to just not grasp so tightly. Just let go. Or as my friend said, experience Wu Wei, effortless action. So it isn't that you're not acting. It isn't that I'm not taking action. I'm just not efforting at it. So see if you can take that on. And I'd love to hear about it. You could text me, you could email, you could put a comment or start a chat. And I'd love to hear, how are you able to experience Wu Wei in your life? What might that look like? How can you just let something, anything, one thing be and relax into it? All right? I'll be here next week, and I look forward to hearing about your Wu Wei experience. Have a great week.